It's 4:30. This is WKYT This Morning. A scary situation for an elderly woman from Harrison County after her purse was stolen in a home invasion. We'll have the details straight ahead for you.
Also, 3 U.S. Olympic swimmers could now face charges after they reported a false crime while in Rio for the Olympics. We've got the latest.
And this morning, a Lincoln County family's hard work has paid off. A soldier's Bible that they found is now back in the hands of the man's relatives. That story and your weekend weather forecast on WKYT This Morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. It's your Friday, and we're glad you're on WKYT to start off this day and head for the weekend. I'm Bill Bryant.
I'm Rebecca Smith. Let's check out what's happening with the Friday weather with Micah.
Yeah, and this morning we have a few sprinkles down south, and that's about it. So as we continue to travel off towards your weekend, it's not looking bad this morning, but afternoon we do have a few storms back in the forecast. You can see little specks here and there close to Liberty, and then work your way down into Whitley County and also Clinton County, Adair County. That's where we're seeing just a few here and there. Nothing that's going to cause any problems. A little fog out there, though. We got to be watching out for that. We're right around 70 degrees this morning. 83 by the afternoon with those storms in the forecast, guys. We'll get into the weekend coming up.
Micah, thank you. I'm sure you'll want to talk a little bit more about this as the morning goes along. A funnel cloud was the talk of the town in Winchester yesterday afternoon. Thousands of people saw it in the sky. Many of you shared your eyewitness pictures and videos of it with us. Some people at Clark County's BCTC campus ran outside to check it out.
So we all kind of rushed out here, was standing right here, and as you could stand right here, you could see it just directly right behind that tree line. And it was very skinny. It was kind of in an S curve, and it was reaching down behind the tree line.
Clark County Emergency Management sounded the county's sirens as a precaution, even though there was not a tornado warning. They say they have not received any reports of any damage from that, but certainly, as we said, it was the talk.
Yeah.
And a lot of talk on social media as well.
Dramatic.
Yeah.
A frightening ordeal for a 93-year-old Harrison County woman. She says someone armed with a baseball bat forced his way into her home and stole her purse.
The woman's family says the thief got away with money and a checkbook, which were inside the purse. WKYT's Monique Blair talks to the victim and to her son.
Well, he pushed the front door open. Apparently, they'd been here earlier in the day, and Mom didn't lock the door.
Gerald Hill says on Sunday afternoon a man came to his home and talked to his 93-year-old mother. It's unclear what that man wanted, but Hill thinks he was staking out the house, and he believes it was the same man who came back later, that time more aggressively.
Came in the house with a ball bat.
Hill says the man followed him and his mom and forced them to go into her bedroom.
Had his shirt up over his nose, so I couldn't see his face. All I could see was his eyes.
The man was only after one thing.
That's all he said. Where is the purse?
At that point, Hill says he gave the man his mom's purse that had about $150 inside.
I didn't want to see her get hit in the head with a ball bat.
And just a few minutes later, the man was gone. Hill says he believes there was another person waiting in a car outside. Hill says after the suspect left his house, he tried to call 911 using the landline, but the phone wouldn't work. Sheriff's deputies later found out the landline was cut from the outside of this house.
It didn't scare me that much, but I think I didn't know what I was doing after that.
The Harrison County Sheriff's Office says at this time nobody has been arrested for this crime.
They don't know who it is yet.
Not yet, yeah.
Ooh.
In Harrison County, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Nobody was hurt during the home invasion. Hill describes the suspect as a white man in his late 20s, about 5'6", with a thin build. The University of Kentucky Police Department has issued a crime bulletin after a strong-arm robbery on campus. That robbery yesterday afternoon in the Patterson office tower. Police say a woman walked into her office and noticed a man standing behind her desk. They say the man grabbed some money from the office and ran off. Police have not found him. They say the victim is a UK employee.
Reports out of Brazil say that police have recommended Ryan Lochte and fellow U.S. swimmer Jimmy Fegan be indicted on charges of falsely reporting a crime. Police say the two swimmers, along with 2 others, made up a story about being robbed at gunpoint in Rio earlier this week. The U.S. Olympic Committee apologized to Rio for the swimmers' accusations. Mary Maloney has the latest.
The news of 4 American swimmers robbed in Rio at gunpoint cast a shadow over the Olympic Games.
They pulled out their guns. They told the other swimmers to get down on the ground. They got down on the ground. I refused. I was like, we didn't do anything wrong. And then the guy pulled out his gun. He cocked it, put it to my forehead. He took our money. He took my wallet.
But police now say the stunning story is just that, a story. Sunday, gold medalist Ryan Lochte and 3 of his teammates, Gunnar Benz, Jack Conger, and Jimmy Feigen, partied at a club. Afterwards, surveillance video shows the swimmers at a gas station. Rio officials say the Olympians were drunk and vandalized the business, then made up a cover story. Police pointed to Lochte as the principal troublemaker. They say he got into an angry confrontation with security guards. As the swimmers attempted to leave the gas station in a cab, police say one security guard pulled a gun, forcing the athletes out of the cab and on the ground. Police defended the guard. Eventually, the police say the athletes paid for the damage and left. While sources admit the swimmers weren't on their best behavior, they say the athletes believed they were being robbed at gunpoint because they say they couldn't leave until they gave up their money. Lochte's attorney saying they are the victims. But police say one of the swimmers is cooperating, and police now say Lochte's the one who created the lie. I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
2 of the swimmers were able to catch a flight back home to the U.S. last night. Brazilian police say they pulled them off a plane the night before because they wanted to talk to them.
Back in Kentucky, we've learned more about the search for a Nelson County mother who disappeared more than a year ago. The Nelson County Sheriff's Office served a search warrant yesterday at a Bardstown home, and deputies say it is connected to the Crystal Rogers case. The warrant was served to former Bardstown police officer Nick Houck, but the home belongs to his grandmother. Houck's brother, Brooks, was Rogers' boyfriend. Police have named Brooks Houck as a suspect in the case, but he has not been charged. Rogers' mother showed up at the home as police investigated.
I just couldn't stay away. I just felt like I had to. Nervous. I'm just nervous, and I just wanted to see what was going on. They can't tell us a lot of stuff, so I'm like, I just want to come up here and see for myself.
Deputies would not talk about what was on the search warrant, but investigators were seen taking some things out of the house.
A Lincoln County family's hard work has paid off. This week we've been telling you about their search for relatives of a World War II soldier. This family found his Bible in a china cabinet they inherited, and as WKYT's Garrett Weimer reports, the family was finally able to track down the soldier's family.
Years have smudged the ink, faded the words, but the message is there in his writing.
Please return to Milton C. Cummins, 1145 Delrose Street, Indianapolis, Indiana.
Cummins has passed, another member of the greatest generation no longer living. His Bible, though, is now back in his family's hands.
It's beautiful. I mean, this is just, this is wonderful history, and it's just, I'm just blessed to be able to enjoying it.
Protestant version.
Mark and Deanna Young got a lot of calls and did a lot of research trying to track down Cummins' family. Turns out a relative from Michigan had just gotten to Lexington for a last-minute business trip.
That shows how God can work. I mean, he's awesome, and if he wants something to happen, it's going to happen. Ain't no stopping it.
They met in Nicholasville, a meeting nothing short of a miracle for this family with only 4 descendants of Milton C. Cummins still alive.
God does small things that we should celebrate, and God does big things that we should celebrate. And to our family, this is a big thing.
Its brave owner is now laid to rest, but after all these years, this Bible is finally back home. In Nicholasville, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Fact says they think the family lost track of the Bible after an estate sale shortly after their Uncle Milton died.
All right, nice ending to that story.
Yeah.
Time this morning is 4:39 on WKYT. We're just getting started here on your Friday. We're glad you are up and at it with us.
In the summertime, the heat can wear you out quicker than your workout, but there are some ways you can beat that heat coming up.
We have a few showers down south, and then we travel off into your weekend. The weekend looks like a cold front's going to be blasting on through here. Some thunderstorms, much cooler air. We'll have that coming up next.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
We have a pretty good looking start to the day in terms of much rain falling outside. We just don't have much. And you got to look down south to actually see a few light showers, a few sprinkles here and there. But other than that, we're actually looking pretty decent this morning. Now, as we travel down south, that's where we're getting the cloud cover in the central zone. Central zones, our temperatures are right there around 70, cloud cover overhead, maybe even a little fog in some locations. Got to be watching out for that. That's really my main concern. This isn't even a concern. It's just more of a nuisance than anything else, and all that is tracking eastbound. So keep that in mind down south. 127-27 Cumberland Parkway. That's where you're seeing the better chance of actually seeing a couple of sprinkles, a couple light showers. Then we go through your day. Afternoon, we mix in a few rumbles of thunder, and that's going to give us the chance at a few more heavy downpours later on this afternoon. Off into the evening hours, it looks like it should fade away. Friday night football, I don't see much of an issue in terms of most of our region actually is dry at that time, especially during the second half. Second half, I believe most of us, almost all of us, are actually dry, and temperatures will be right there around 77 degrees there at halftime. We go into your weekend. Spotty storms will be there on Saturday. Now, Saturday is absolutely not a washout. However, a few storms will be during the day. I would say about a 40% chance of rain during the day, more like a 70-80% chance evening and nighttime hours. And then what happens is it moves through Saturday night into Sunday morning. That is your cold front. Once a cold front pushes through Sunday morning, we're left with an afternoon that looks phenomenal. So this rain chance you see on Sunday is actually during the morning hours. Afternoon, evening look very, very nice at 77 degrees. Perfect weather there Sunday afternoon off into your next week. Next week, I mean, looks phenomenal. I mean, this is some really, really nice air on the way. These are temperatures that are well below average, not above average. And so we're going to be seeing some pretty nice conditions into next week. But today, a few storms in the forecast. Guys, it's more of that spotty nature. Saturday, those storms will be around. But remember, keep in mind that most of the activity actually comes during the evening and nighttime hours. And then that looks to push through there Sunday morning with just a few showers there. Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon looks really, really good. You got to love it.
This is a nice stretch after that.
That's exactly
all right. Mike, appreciate it very much. Well, staying active in the summertime can be difficult for people who struggle in the heat.
Yeah, you might want to consider pool walking to stay cool while working out. Here's more in today's Mom's Everyday Minute.
Chances are you'll be spending some time at the pool this summer, and while it's a great place to lounge and relax with a good book, you might want to grab a quick workout while you're there. HealthyWomen.org says pool walking builds strength and endurance, and it does it in a therapeutic, relaxing way. Because of the water resistance, pool walking is slower than walking on land by about a third to half. Depending on your fitness level, you can adjust your speed to get the level of workout you want. Waist-high water is best for your water workout. For beginners, start with walking laps the length of the pool or side to side. You can also walk backwards to work abdominal and back muscles. Once that becomes too easy, you can add in some leg lifts, raising and lowering each leg to the side. You can also add leg weights to increase the difficulty of the workout. For more ideas to make mom's life easier, check out momseveryday.com. For Moms Everyday, I'm Katie Kunkel.
For these tips and more, go to WKYT.com. Click on Moms Every Day.
And right there, we'll keep you up to date as well on all the latest news and the weather throughout the weekend. Good to have you on WKYT this morning. We're back in just a moment.
Investigators think 3 people could be behind a theft ring in central Kentucky. We'll take a closer look at the investigation when we come back.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Welcome back to WKYT this morning. Good to have you with us. We're rolling toward 4:50, 10 till 5. In the news this morning, investigators think 3 people could be behind the thefts from hundreds of cars around central Kentucky.
The Franklin County Sheriff's Office has charged Justin Hendershot and 2 juveniles with receiving stolen property. Investigators say most of the thefts were in Franklin and Anderson counties, but they think thefts in Scott and Shelby counties could also be connected. The Franklin County Sheriff says his office has recovered nearly 100 stolen items, including phones, guns, and clothing. One woman says thieves stole her hunting bow from her car.
And I was devastated. I sank to the ground, and I remember first calling my mom and just crying.
Now he's got a place actually.
The Sheriff's Office did find her stolen bow. Investigators say they expect more arrests in the case.
We're tracking the investigation into a crash that killed a man in Harlan County. It happened yesterday afternoon on South Highway 421 near Harlan. State police say Roston Bray Jr. tried to make a U-turn in his car but turned into the path of a truck, causing the crash. Police say Bray later died at a hospital. 2 other people were also taken to the hospital. We do not know their conditions this morning.
Well, for the first time, the State Department has admitted there was a link between a $400 million cash payment to Iran and the release of 4 Americans being held prisoner there. The State Department says Iran couldn't get the money until the Americans were freed, but the Obama administration insists the money was not ransom, claiming it was owed to Iran as part of a failed arms deal 35 years ago. Republicans and GOP presidential nominee Donald Trump have been critical of that money transfer.
Police have arrested a Whitley County woman who they say abandoned her dogs. Police have charged Angela Mullins with animal cruelty. They say she left her dogs in her Corbin home for weeks without water, food, or proper care. Police say they found one of the dogs, a pit bull, malnourished and covered in waste.
An eastern Kentucky family says an accident caused a fire that destroyed their home. The fire started in the Turkey Creek community of Pike County. Tolbert McCoy says his son walked outside to smoke a cigarette, but his lighter somehow caught fire. McCoy says his son thought he put out the flames, so he placed the lighter in his shoe. But minutes later, the home was on fire, and now there's not much left.
I ain't got no roof on it. It's all caved in, down inside the house. Just burned it all up from the center over.
No one was injured. McCoy says his family's lived in the home for more than 20 years, and he had almost had it paid off.
A traveling memorial to thousands of fallen heroes has arrived in Rockcastle County. The moving Vietnam Veterans Memorial is now on display outside the Kentucky Music Hall of Fame and Museum in Renfro Valley. It's a half-size replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. It will be open 24 hours a day while it is at Renfro Valley. One Vietnam War veteran says seeing the memorial in Kentucky is a special moment.
It's an experience because I know names on that wall. We have some countyans here that I know's on the wall. It's bringing it to a county that a lot of people will never get to experience the real one. And this is as close to it as they're going to get.
The memorial will be at Renfro Valley until noon on Monday. Well, coming up next, we'll have a look at some of the news stories our team is working on for you this morning.
We'll also have another look at your morning forecast.
Welcome back in. 4:56 is our time on your Friday on WKYT This Morning.
Let's take a look right now at some of the stories we're working on for you this morning.
We have our team looking into this for the 10th year in a row. Friends and family of a man who was killed in the crash of Comair Flight 5191 will come together for a volleyball tournament in Lexington. Fenton Dawson died when the flight crashed near Bluegrass Airport in August of 2006. Dawson loved to play volleyball, and this year will be the final year for the event. We'll find out why that is coming up on WKYT This Morning.
We've learned more about the search for a Nelson County mother who disappeared more than a year ago. The Nelson County Sheriff's Office served a search warrant yesterday at a Bardstown home. Deputies say it's connected to the Crystal Rogers case. We'll take a closer look at this coming up and the new developments ahead on WKYT This Morning.
Maybe I boil this down too simply, but it sounds like we'll have some showers over the weekend, and then it turns beautiful for a while.
Beautiful. Let's hone in on that, Micah.
Yeah, it's a big change in the pattern, and this pattern just has not changed the past month and a half. Now, as we get off into next week, it's an atmospheric change that we're going to really love. I promise you that. And temperatures will really drop, too. Only a slight chance of rain down south. That's what we're seeing this morning. A few sprinkles, a couple light showers. Then we head towards your afternoon. We're with a few storms in the forecast at 83 degrees. Now, today is more of the hit and miss. Some see the rain, some do not. Once you get to the weekend, Saturday night into Sunday morning is your best chance of rain, but that does not mean we're going to be dry on both of those days. During the daylight hours, I'm going to have that coming up with another 2 hours of WKYT News.